Guys, here we are. Frame is fixed, motor is in, transmission is in. We got some goodies going on, but our next steps are the road to twin turbo, guys. So here we go. We got our billet manifold right there. We have fuel pump in. We have some of the wiring done for the cool stuff. Now let me tell you something that we're doing here. Come here. Some cool things that are gonna go into this build are MoTeC. Now this is a $12,000 ECU right here. This ECU is very important to have because number one, we are no longer running direct injection. We're going straight port injection, correct? You're gonna have to have a good engine management system to be able to control that. Next thing, MoTeC has the most safety parameters ever put in any other ECU. Now, with that being said, when we're having knock issues, like trying to prevent detonation, trying to add accurate timing, it's important to have a good ECU. That's why you don't cheap out with no other ECU. You just go straight to MoTeC, unless you have extra $60,000 to just be replacing engines. Obviously, with a good ECU, you need a good tuner, right? That's why we're gonna be tuning with Tony from T1 Race. Best guy out there. Love their customer support. All the parts for this vehicle, with the exception of the turbo kit, came from T1, and so far it's been an amazing experience just installing these stuff, because they send you everything you need plus more to make sure you're not running down to the hardware store to buy more stuff while you only have limited time to put these things together. You know what I mean? Now, for Tony, we're gonna add extra sensors, okay? The reason why we're doing extra sensors is just to make sure that the motor is healthy and the car is running happy. First of all, we're gonna run a auxiliary oil pressure sensor. Vehicle comes factory with oil pressure, but we're gonna run auxiliary just because these auxiliaries read better data to the MoTeC. Cool? Next thing is we're gonna add an auto upshift harness. This is basically like when this car is so fast, you want to be able to have the privilege of shifting automatically, because you're not going to have time to literally hit a paddle shifter. This thing's going to shift it for you at a certain RPM. That way the tuner can set the power band exactly when the car needs to shift. We're going to run T-map harnesses to read our AITs, our boost. And then we got this beautiful T1 Race max solenoid kit that they offer, and it's literally a 3-port max solenoid, but you could see like they add the nice connector. It comes with these super nice vacuum lines, which I really like, so I just went with this stuff. I could have probably had this built for about 200 bucks, but it wouldn't have been this nice, you know, so I went full T1 on that. Next thing we got to show you guys is some stuff that we did inside of the engine bay that we kind of missed out, but you can see this is some wiring we're doing for the MoTeC. We have a ethanol content sensor right here, if you want to go around. So guys, we did ethanol content sensor. This is actually pretty normal in any kind of E85 build, high horsepower project. Another cool thing we did, we added a coolant pressure sensor. Now, coolant pressure sensor is becoming very important. It's data that you need to make sure that you're not lifting ahead, you're not pushing compression back into the coolant system. So it's really cool that I have that sensor. I'll actually show you guys where it's located to in the next steps of this project. But yeah, so today we're literally going fast. Well, not really, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Let's talk about the turbo system here. I don't want to bore you guys too much, so we're gonna make it quick. These are our adapters for the turbos. These are literally V-band, connect to stock header, go to the beautiful turbos right here. I had them Cerakoted in a super nice Desert Eagle looking color. I think it's gonna look really well with the car. Now you can see these are our 68 70mm next gen turbos. They're missing the compressor housing right now because my body shop on the other side, they're painting a lot of the parts for the turbo kit the same color as the car. So it's gonna be like, it's gonna be a fast car, it's gonna be an art piece, you know? So that's the goal here. On top of the turbo kit, we got an ice box. So turbo is gonna be cooled water to air, right? You're gonna have water circulating to a heat exchanger that we have up front right here. Heat exchanger is going to cool the water for us now, so that way when the water is getting to the back of the car to the intercoolers, it's going to have cool water to cool down that air. On top of some stuff we've recently done is we've added a all-wheel drive controller from T1 Race. Now what this is it uses MoTeC to control the all-wheel drive. From the factory you have a module to control your all-wheel drive system. We're gonna basically leave this unplugged but still there, and we're just gonna run our all-wheel drive controller from the MoTeC, and then this is gonna basically connect to that. One thing I really like about the T1 harness is it gives me a spare plug right here. This plug can be used to basically run any wires that I have from here to the back all at once, so that way I don't have multiple wires going back and forth to the back of the car. It literally makes it like a really nice wire loom straight to the back, and I'm going to be using that plug to control our water tank. I don't need the motor to be running at all times. It's good to have the tuner set the parameters on when the water pump needs to be on for our turbo system to cool down and things like that. So that's going to be there. There's still 3 extra plugs on that connector. You can do literally whatever you want with it. If you're doing line lock, whatever, you just literally run it out. You connect it to this 4-pin wire. So you basically have four switches here to do whatever you want. We're going to be using one for the water box, and then if I ever do line lock, I can do it on that. If I ever do like a level sensor for the ride height, I can do that, and it'll send all the data straight to the MoTeC. Right now I do have my factory ECUs here because we're going to go ahead and remove these soon to go with MoTeC. One cool feature that I think you guys saw in the last video was we did Apple CarPlay. Go ahead, Kevin. Show them the cool stuff. Show them the cool stuff, man. Look at that, man. We got Apple CarPlay. Now, when you're going fast, you got to know where you're going, and that's why we have that there. All right, so what we're doing here is before I install the MoTeC, I really just want to see what's currently going on with the car. Basically looking at what errors we have and seeing if there's anything that I can get resolved before I put the MoTeC in, just because I'm trying to avoid chasing like issues that could be related to the MoTeC, and I'm not realizing that because I've already done all this other things to the vehicle. So it's just something that I wanted to do. Whatever I can get off the car now is good. That way when we're doing the other stuff, and then if any future issues do come up, I know what's going on. So far I've saved the original set of codes that were on the car. I did a reset just to see what's going to come back. I'm going to try to fix some of them because a lot of it's going to be related to our like injectors and stuff like that. Our ECU is currently not connected to the car, so we're just basically trying to take out as many errors as we can before we go to the next step. But this is a very cool diagnostic software that's basically for every Volkswagen. It's VCDS. This is everything you're going to need to fix a Lamborghini, Audi, Volkswagen, anything in that group. So it's good to have. This is basically what the dealership is going to use on this car if you ever take it in. I currently have 2 fault codes on the ABS. Yeah, it looks like one of them is because there's no oil. Missing messages. Alright, we have 3 faults right now, which is number 1, restriction due to faults in other modules, which is basically something to do with the computer in the back. Electronic activated wheel dampening electronics. So we have issues in our struts right now. You think it's the leveling sensor? Is it not connected?
No, well, remember we didn't set that. Remember this right here?
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. All right, next, let's go to the next module. So we got an idea of what's going on in there. Let's see what our transmission is saying. That's it. Yeah, literally, transmission is good and golden. When you twin turbo a Huracan, like, these manufacturers are able to like do cool things like billet brackets and stuff like that, because the car honestly is so expensive to where people can sell a turbo kit for $20,000 and up. But in the process, because the rear muffler is so big, and when you're removing it to put a twin turbo kit, literally the turbos are enough to save, like, you'll basically be saving space because that exhaust is so big. And like, these guys are able to manufacture things like this to where it literally makes the turbos fit like they're supposed to be there. And basically what we're about to do, we're about to assemble the turbo system as one big unit, and plug it up to the car, which is gonna be really nice. Check this out. We're using a thread sealant paste instead of the traditional Teflon tape. The reason why we do it this way is actually because on Teflon tape, whenever you're tying down your fitting, you have extra Teflon tape because it's gonna compress and seal the threads, right? So you got Teflon tape that's gonna come through like the top and the bottom. A lot of times that Teflon tape in the fitting can go into the oil system and damage the turbo or the actual engine. So that's why it's better to use a paste instead of Teflon tape, because it could literally block off the oil feed to the turbo and cause a lot of issues. Right now I left the turbos a little loose right here just to see if I need to change my orientation, because all this stuff really can go however you really want. But I'm gonna use some pictures on the KLM website just to reference. Let's see how they got these things going in real quick. Our wastegates will be at the bottom. Well, something like this. This might be the wrong one. Should be this one. So our turbos are basically gonna be like that, and they're gonna be like this. Hold on. Get in there. What is going on here? What am I doing wrong? So we know this goes a little something like this. So I'm using this to see. Dude, this looks so good. All right, now I got an idea. So this is literally completely straight. I think that's literally how it is. All right, figured it out. And our wastegates are gonna be on this side, while the other part, okay, cool. We just go ahead and add our clamps. Twin turbos are mounted. If I forgot to mention, these are the new Precision Next Gen 6770s, rated to make about 2,000 horsepower. But cool thing about the setup is that they're mirror image turbos, so they both are going to be fully symmetrical. Another cool thing about V10s is we treat these cars as if it's two engines. So bank 1 and bank 2 have literally its own everything. They have their own wideband, their own boost sensors. They're ran separately too because they have their own ECUs on each side. So literally this is a dual 5-cylinder engine with that share the same crank. Everything else has its individual setup. So it literally goes straight down the middle, bank 1, bank 2, all separate. So it's cool to have everything symmetrical. That way all the stuff is running optimum and very clean. So far we got our hot side of the turbos installed and mounted. Right now we're gonna do the wastegate, and I'm gonna actually show you a cool little trick. I want to explain something real quick. So this is our Turbo Smart wastegate. These will basically open and close so we can control boost pressure. And when you're installing that wastegate on here, you can see there's a little bit of a space right here in between the two flanges, and trying to get that to sit flush, you got to be a superhero to kind of push those in place. So let me show you guys a trick, so that way you can get this to go down while you're installing. So literally get yourself a vacuum pump. You'll go ahead and like do the hose orientation however you wish, as long as you can pull vacuum without leaking air. And once you turn your vacuum pump on, it makes it a lot easier to press this down. That way if you come around here, when I'm putting my wastegate on and I'm ready to put in my clamp, you can see how easy it is to put the two flanges, sit it butt up against each other with the vacuum pump. Vacuum on, easy peasy. Put your wastegate like so. Look, you see now I can press it against the flange effortlessly. Doing this with one hand. because of this little trick. See the two brackets that go on the cats? I need to put those on next. Yeah. Oh, do we have the tool to put the car in neutral? I think I brought it. So we got our turbo drain line right here. So the kit comes with some really cool stuff. Like this is a custom made fitting that they make to circulate the oil right back into the oil sump. We did have to shave some stuff here to make this fit nice and flush. Check this out. It's another extra sensor that we put into the vehicle so our tuner has more data. This is the coolant pressure sensor, and basically what this is going to help us do is tell us if we have compression loss going back into the coolant system, which obviously means lifting heads, head gasket issues and things like that. So it's a good thing to have. Another safety measure, because if MoTeC notices something crazy going on in the coolant system, it's automatically going to shut things down before we hurt anything else. So that's one thing I'm really happy that I put in here. The cool part about it is it's like it comes with like everything you need to just make it plug and play, fittings, all of that. Now it does come with an outlet port for coolant lines. This really is just for if I was running like a Garrett G35 or a G40. Those turbos are water cooled, so I would have used this to cool those turbos. But in our case, we're running Precision X-Gen, so we're just gonna cap this off and keep it going. Here we go. We got prep station going on right now. Kevin is basically cleaning up all the parts, any kind of residue left over from the paint, whatever. We're gonna make sure they're all cleaned up so nothing gets sucked back into the engine. Right now, I'm gonna be assembling these. You see I put the KLM grill on the top of the intercooler. This is a very, very nice quality piece that sits right on top of the intercooler. You can see it from your engine lid glass. Next up is our blow-off valve. I'm good, like literally geeking just to see what these are gonna sound like once they're on the car. What we doing, like 20 PSI? 20 PSI, bro. Imagine what those are gonna do. Final stages of installing our billet intake manifold, guys. Quick little education on this. Basically, this converts the car to